Hi, this is Jen from thesuburbanmom.com, and today I'm going to walk you through my tutorial on how to make Minnie or Mickey ears for a birthday party or for a costume. I created this tutorial myself about 2 years ago when I needed ears for my daughter's birthday party. They were really expensive to buy and I needed about 30 pair, so I decided to make them. At the time I couldn't find anybody online that could show me how to make them, so I sat down with all my supplies and put something together and figured out what would work for the tutorial, what would work for the ears for the party, and then afterwards decided to put a tutorial together. The tutorial has been really popular and I'm so excited that I've helped so many people make ears for their little ones' birthday parties. I didn't have any idea that the tutorial would be this popular, but the one thing that I hear the most from people is, I just can't do this myself because I'm not crafty. Can you do it for me? Or is there somebody who can do it for me? Or I have to get somebody to do it for me. And I want to tell everybody it is not that hard to do. You don't have to be traditionally crafty to be able to do this. It really is cutting and gluing things together. It's very simple. So I decided to make a very quick video tutorial to show you how easy it is. So I'm going to walk you through the steps, but I'm going to kind of skip through a couple other parts because I think you can figure out how to cut things. So I will show you what we're going to do. First thing you need is your supplies, and you will need black felt. You will need foamy sheets. This one that's already cut up. They come in all kinds of colors. I recommend getting them at Joann's and using a 40% off coupon. Buy the multi-pack with all the different colors because it really doesn't matter what color is on the inside. So just buy whatever they have. You will need headbands. You can use any headband for this. I decided to get the goodie ones that are flexible because I was making these for 2-year-olds, and I know how 2-year-olds are, and I didn't want headbands breaking in the middle of the birthday party. Then you will need a pattern, which I have uploaded to the tutorial that I wrote, so you can print off your own pattern. You will of course need a pair of scissors. You'll need a Sharpie marker. You'll need a chalk pencil, and you will need a hot glue gun. If you don't have a fabric chalk pencil like this, if you have just a skinny piece of chalk from your kid's chalk, any chalk will do. Just grab the sidewalk chalk if that's what you have. It'll work. If you're making Minnie, you will also need ribbon. So here are the basic steps. So the first thing you want to do is you'll want to cut out your ears. Using your pattern, you will cut black felt. Here's where I'm skipping a step because I figure you can follow this pattern and just cut out the black felt. You're going to need 2 of these per ear. The next thing you'll need to cut out from your black felt is you'll need to cut out strips of black felt. You can see that I really was in a hurry when I was cutting this, so it's not very pretty, but you're basically just making strips of black felt. You want to make them about 1.5 times the width of your headband, because this is actually what's going to be covering your headband. If you want to skip this step and get a black headband, go for it. Again, I chose these headbands because they were flexible and they didn't come in black at the time. But if you can find a black headband that you want and skip the entire black headband covering step, go for it. It certainly was probably the most challenging part of this whole process. So once you have all the pieces that you need cut out of your black felt, you can go ahead and get things started for assembling. For the headband, and I'll just show you how to do that real quick here, you will actually lay the headband down. It's easiest if you run a strip of glue all the way around, about halfway around, and then roll it onto your black felt. Then go ahead and do another strip of glue and roll it onto the rest of your black felt as you're rolling across. So at the end you'll have it, and of course, like I said, I did this in a hurry and I didn't snip mine long enough. You should snip yours long enough so that you have about 1/2 inch longer than the headband down here. The next step will actually be to fold this over, and again, do a strip of glue, fold, strip of glue, fold. And of course, this would be easier if this was actually glued. Once you get that one side folded on the whole thing, you'll want to start and come over here and do it again, and do the whole thing again with the glue. At the end, or as you're doing it rather, you'll want to put a dollop of glue right here at the end. Now what I did, you can kind of see it on the pairs that I did, I did glue the ends, like I said, with about a 1/2 inch of extra, and then I actually snipped them off so that they would be flush with the ends of the headbands, because I didn't want the extra flopping around, but I wanted it nicely glued so it wouldn't peel up. So you can see that it's been glued pretty solid. Of course, this one's been through a little wear and tear. So that's really all there is to the covering of the headbands. It takes the longest amount of time because it's a multi-step thing. And as I warned on the tutorial, you will probably burn your fingers. So I highly recommend getting a low temp, or using the low temp on your hot glue gun. Because even with a low temp, I still burnt my fingers a lot doing 30 pairs of them. So like I said, it's really just a process of doing it a little bit by a little bit by a little bit. And then actually folding it over and gluing it, and then folding it over and doing this part. So that's the headband. Once you get the whole headband covered, you'll set that aside, and you can start working on your ears. For the ears, I discovered very quickly that a pair of ears like this is very floppy, and they flop over, and I didn't want floppy ears. I wanted them to stand up. So that's what I used the foamy for. I actually got foamies with the adhesive on the back, because it seemed like a good idea. One foamy was not strong enough for me to be standing up, so I actually used 2 foamy circles in every pair of ears that I made. You'll see, look how jagged it is with the circles. Even when I did the ears from at the birthday parties, I did not worry about perfect circles, because you will never see these circles. They're just a stiffener for the inside of your ears. So if you get the double-sided, you can stick them together and save yourself a step. This part I do actually want to show you. This is where you will actually assemble your ears, and you just want to put some glue on your foamy and glue it down. All right, and now this is the part that I wanted to show you, is that you're going to want to put glue all the way around here, because that's how you will seal your ears shut. If you use too much, it oozes out the sides, and it's just not very pretty. So you have to be cautious with your glue, and yet you want to use enough to glue it. So when I do it, I kind of, instead of making big glops, I kind of use the gun to kind of help spread it. Spread the glue. And then you again will want some glue on the foamy itself. Okay. I don't know if you can see on the edges, they're not big glops of glue, because like I said, you don't want them oozing out. You want to just kind of spread it, a thin layer of glue. All right. And then seal it shut. And you will see that there is some glue right here coming out, but I can just trim a little bit of glue off. Glue. And there you go. And there's an ear. All right, once you have your ears circles all made, you can go ahead and start assembling them to your headbands. And we'll just pretend this one is covered for now. If you do use a thinner headband or a black headband that doesn't need to be covered or something like that, you may need to actually adjust your original template with your ears. This part here was made based on using this headband wrapped in fabric that made it a little bit fatter. And if you used a thinner headband or something that wasn't covered, you can see that this is really big here, and that might be too big for you. The easiest way to adjust the template is to actually just fold it, simply fold it, and then shorten this part here. And you can do that according to what you need for the size headband you use. But assuming that you cover a fairly average size headband, that template should work. So when you're adding it to your headband, you'll see that if it's covered, there's a lot less space there. I didn't want my ears to flop again, so I decided to make them very secure, and I actually added hot glue into here. I would squirt here, and I squirted some here, and then you actually press down until it hardens there. And you'll see that on the final product with my ears, these ears are not going anywhere. They are stuck on there nicely, securely, and they stand up very nice, even when 2-year-olds are wearing them around the house and running them around. So that's the assembly of the ears. If you're making Mickey Mouse, you're now done. If you are making Minnie Mouse, you'll need a bow. If you did decide to make Mickey Mouse and you're done, I just want to stop right here, that the written instructions for the ears, as well as the templates and all of the measurements that you'll need, are on my website, which is www.thesuburbanmom.com, and you'll also find a direct link to that post in the description below. I also took pictures and posted about all of the decorations that I did. Besides just the ears, I made a lot of other decorations as well, and you'll find a link to that post with lots of other party ideas for me. So if you're making Mickey ears and you're stopping here, thanks for watching, and I hope this helped you make your ears. Have a really good birthday party for your kids, or enjoy your costume. If you are making bows for Minnie, this is what you'll need to do. You can make any kind of bow you want. I decided to make kind of a faux bow on here. I'm gonna use red here so that you can see it's contrasting. You'll make a loop. Again, the dimensions are on the website. And then you'll actually fold this like so. Then you will take a thin ribbon. You can use string, use root, whatever, but I was able to find ribbon that matched this, so it worked perfect. You actually put this in the center. Tying it off. Again, this is super simple if you're not crafty, because you're not actually having to tie a fancy bow. So once you have that tied off, you will actually tie it onto your headband. I mean, it really is this simple. Tie it on. You'll see that I tied them on and I cut off the ends here. I did, again, decide that glue was necessary. So before I actually tied this on, I did put a dollop of glue right back here, and I stuck it on like this, and then I would tie it on, just because I didn't want these flopping around either. And again, you can see that my bows are secure, my ears are secure, everybody is secure. So that is all that you are going to need to make Minnie Mouse ears and Mickey ears. These ears that I have here, both pairs, are now 2 years old and have been played dress up with countless times. And so you can see that this really does hold up and can last for quite a while. So again, the links to the full tutorial with all the measurements and everything else are located in the description part of this video below. You also find that you can download the template. And I hope that you have a great time, and I hope that you see that anybody can make these bows. So have a very nice day. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.